redoing the floor in my stock trailer here. So besides the rubber being all wore out and brittle, you can see the floor. All these floorboards are rotted out along the edges, and the trailer's starting to rust. But now these wood's getting to, it's not a safe situation to have livestock in here. It's just barely hanging on. So I'm gonna have to pull all the rubber out of here, and then tear all the boards out and replace them. And I'll kind of give you updates as I go along, show you the progress and the process. But I need to go ahead and get this taken care of because this trailer's, like I said, not safe anymore. As you can see, these boards are still pretty good in the middle, but all along the edges they're rotted out. These have been in here for, this trailer's nearly 20 years old, and this floor's never been replaced, so it's held up pretty good, but time to go ahead and get it fixed up. Because all of these screws, the heads are rusted out and just stripped out, I can't take the screws out. So I'm having to cut these boards and then pry them up out of there and just break the screws off. So using a circular saw to cut those, make those 3 cuts, and then use a Sawzall to finish it off to the metal bars there, and then use a pry bar and pry them up out of there and just snap the screws off. So it's not quite as easy as I was hoping, but that's not too terrible. Well, I've got half the boards out. Shouldn't take too much longer to get the rest of those out. Then I'll have to come back and cut off all those screws that are sticking up. And then we'll get some new boards and get those, well, I'm going to clean it all up. Pressure wash it, clean it up, spray some primer down there along that edge, and then maybe put some rubber coating of some sort along there before I put the boards back down. See what I can find at the store to try to help keep that from rusting. It's actually in pretty good shape underneath there. Those support angle irons I thought they'd be in a lot worse shape than that. They're actually in pretty good shape. The worst rust is right along the edge where those boards meet the wall. That's the worst of it. Anyhow, we'll get it torn apart and put back together. Got all the boards out. Now I'm gonna come back, pressure wash it, go through and cut off all those screws that are poking up everywhere, and then put some primer on it and some sort of undercoating, help protect it. But at least all the lumber's out. All right, so I got all the wood out of there, cut all the screws off, ground them flat, and now I've went ahead and primed this with some primer that's intended to be used on rusted metal. And then I will probably get some white paint, go ahead and paint around the edges. I probably won't paint the cross members there, but I'll paint along the walls, and then go ahead and get the wood put back in. I've got went and picked up the lumber. That's quite expensive, over almost $22 a board for a 12-foot 2x10, and it's going to take 9 of them to redo this, so that was kind of costly. So you can see here I did spray on a rubberized undercoating. This is a Raptor. It's in a can, and I just sprayed it on the places most susceptible to rust. Now I went ahead and painted it white. This is acrylic equipment paint, so it should be fairly durable. And my plan is to eventually repaint the whole trailer, but for now I just wanted to get around the edges before I put the lumber in, get this all prepped and looking good. Now here we go. I've started putting in the first set of boards, and you can see I had to notch that first one to fit around that brace right there. Took several tries to get that to fit just right, but finally got it in. I've got this whole first section done, and these are 12-foot 2x10s, and then I'm cutting them down to just a hair under 71 inches. So there's just a couple inches of scrap. And then that smaller board, I took a 2x10 and ripped it in half to fill in that last little gap. I've got all the boards in place. I just need to come back in and screw them down with some heavy-duty self-drilling screws. These are 2 3/4 inches long, and they are really heavy-duty screws. All right, I've got everything screwed down, everything in place. It's all looks pretty good. The only thing left to do now is get some new rubber mats to put in here so that this floor is non-slip, but that'll be at a later date. So this project is done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya. Bye.